What is inflation? You must have heard a song. Sir, please explain distribution of GDP. Okay, distribution of GDP is one of the problem of GDP that I have mentioned there. What is the problem with GDP? That this figure does not reflect if this GDP use is distributed or not. Okay, it might happen that, so see, practically, like Ambani Adani example is a bit extreme, but that's one of the practical reality is that most of the development is concentrated in few states and few cities. Punjab, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, these are the these are the states, or even Delhi. Even in Maharashtra, like most of the development is concentrated in Mumbai, Pune belt. So this is not reflected in GDP. GDP you simply totalize, and even if Mumbai is growing, you say that Maharashtra's GDP is growing. Okay, so this is one of the demerits of GDP. When you just talk in terms of number, you don't look at the details. What is inflation? So inflation is obviously like the, yes, it may be gradual, may not be gradual, but if there is an increase in prices, it is simply inflation. So this is a graphical representation of inflation. Like same cup of coffee was having price maybe 1 rupee in 1970, 2 rupee in 1980, 3 rupees in 94, 5, 6. So the coffee is same, but now it is costing more. It's not that that coffee has become sweeter or more tastier. That's a separate scenario. Okay, so this is called inflation. What can we say in other words? अगर इसी चीज को हम घुमा के देखें, that the purchasing power of this money has reduced. Earlier, this 1 rupee was able to purchase 1 cup of coffee, but in 2019, this 1 rupee is only able to purchase probably 1/5 of a cup of coffee. So in other words, we can say that inflation is reduction in purchasing power of money. So either we can say that the prices of it is increase in prices of goods or services, or we can say that it is reduction in purchasing power of money. Both are the same thing. That's what I have written. Inflation is decrease in the purchasing power of money, or inflationary rate of increase in the prices of goods and services in an economy. Then these are the news figures we keep on saying. ठीक है, समझ में आता है आप लोगों को ये न्यूज जब आप पढ़ते हो? डू यू रीड सच न्यूज और नॉट? यू मस्ट. ठीक है, व्हाट यू शुड नॉट डू इज you should not note these numbers in your note copy. You must always read such news whenever there is a news that inflation has increased or decreased or anything that has happened about inflation. It is directly asked many times. See, we will cover inflation in only one chapter. Okay, but probably there are 8 to 9 questions in last 10 years that has been asked related to inflation. So it is such an important topic on such high return on investment. Okay, like GDP debate we did in 3 classes, but rarely once in a decade question will come. But that is also important because only basis of GDP we can going to understand other things. See, these are the figures, and we will try to understand in today's class what does it mean by retail inflation, what does it mean by wholesale inflation, when these numbers come, what do they signify, whether this 7% is more or less, whether this 15% is more or less, whatever is the reality, we will try to develop understanding around that. But first, since all these numbers are there in percentage, first we need to understand how inflation is calculated. So see, first, a basket of goods and services are selected. Okay, this is the terminology which is used. Basket of goods and services are selected. This basket is representative of the items consumed by the people in this country. So, for example, if people are consuming 2 metric ton of potato and 1 metric ton of tomato, in this basket probably we will take 2 kg of potato, 1 kg of tomato in the same ratio as the consumption of those goods are there in the actual economy. Then what we shall do is we shall go into the market and look at the prices of these items. Suppose in particular area, again the same story, suppose the prices of these items is 100 in one particular area, Then again next year, they will go to the market and again look for the prices of these many items only. The same basket would be there. Again, they will look for the prices. Next year, probably the prices is 110. They will calculate the inflation. How much is the inflation? 10%. Probably this was the scenario in 2020. 2020, it was 100. 2021, 110. Then again they went to the market in 2022. Now they saw that the prices of these many items, the basket is fixed, and these many items is now 120. How much is inflation? Do the calculation. You cannot calculate it in mind. Okay. So what the mistake you are doing is you are simply calculating the difference between 120 and 110. That 10 is rise in prices. Inflation is in percentage and it would always be calculated vis-a-vis last year. So write it down. Inflation is always calculated with respect to last year. Always means always. Underline kar lo always ko. Inflation is always calculated with respect to last year. Inflation is always reported in percentage terms. You will never see that something inflation is 0.09. It is always in percentage terms. Sania, did you get the point? Why it is 9% or 9.09%? If anyone have not been able to arrive at this number 9.09%, let me know. It is very important. Earlier GDP growth rate was not that important. Inflation is important. Here also then this basket becomes very important because in one particular year, we will fix the basket. In any one particular year, we will fix the basket, and then again in every subsequent year, we shall be doing the, measuring the price of that basket only. So the year in which this basket would be fixed would be called as base year. Okay, now there are two possibilities that you can do when you are going to market to look for the prices. One thing that you can do is you can go to your nearest retailer and ask prices from that. He will say that the tomato is 40 rupees per kg. But few people are smarter. They go to the wholesale market and they will ask for the prices over there. They will get tomato or potato at the rate of rupees 30 per kg. Okay. So there are two prices that exist in our country. One is wholesale prices and one is retail prices. Okay. Most of the cases mein, which is the price that the consumer pays? Consumer means you and me. It is retail prices. Not everyone can reach to that wholesaler, or probably wholesale market is not supposed to be directly supplying to you. That's why they say that only if you buy 5 kg or only if you buy the whole carton. Okay, so because wholesale market is not supposed to be meant for that. Okay. So if we track the prices in retail market, it is called CPI. If we track the prices in wholesale market, it is called Wholesale Price Index. Okay, so that's why the two terms, one is Consumer Price Index, another is Wholesale Price Index. So this is an index which is tracking prices in retail market. This is an index which is tracking prices in wholesale market. Since retail market is the price which is being paid by the consumer, that's why the name Consumer Price Index. This is actually how economy works. From farm to some wholesaler, if the price at which wholesaler is buying, no, the wholesaler is selling, yeah, that is called WPI. The price at which this retail shop is selling is known as CPI. But then there is one more price, the price at which this farm is selling to wholesaler, that is known as Producer Price Index, PPI. So it is that index which tracks the price at which producer sells the good. Producer Price Index, as the name, so is the definition. If we are tracking price of producer, that is PPI. Price by wholesaler, that is WPI. Price by retailer, that is CPI.